Welcome to the Fairy Elephant Effect podcast. I am your host, Elizabeth Walter, the author of the Fairy Elephant Effect. In my book and on this podcast, I delve into how transformational moments, both big and small, shape who we are. I share my personal journey through complex post-traumatic stress disorder, severe anxiety, and the processes I have used to move beyond my past and step into a life of greater freedom and joy. Together, we'll reflect on life's challenges, uncover hidden strengths, and gain fresh perspectives to help ourselves and others grow. Each week, we'll explore meaningful themes, engage in powerful conversations, and discover actionable lessons to inspire positive change. We will also talk about EFT on occasion. But tonight we're going to talk about what one of the people in the Turn the Tide with Tapping group asked for, a request on not to worry about what other people think of them. And so this week in the Turn the Tide with Tapping group at 8 p.m, we did tapping about that, but talking on specifically on focus, because where we focus ourselves, where we put our thoughts, our energy, and our actions, where we do that creates the life we're living. And there are many, many people who get hung up on what other people are thinking about them, what other people's impressions of them are. Are they fulfilling other people's needs? Are other people happy with them? Do other people agree with them? Do other people get offended by them? You spend so much time trying to jump through hoops for people in your orbit. And even people you might not know, you are jumping through hoops as well. So it's very interesting how you might be doing this. And so let's read a couple of ways. If you decided to stop focusing on other people and started focusing on your own life, started focusing on the things that are right for you, and brought your attention back onto the inside of you, how that could be so different. How living a life like that could be absolutely brilliant for you, and you get further along in the things that excite you. So let's look at this. One, you can't control other people's opinions, because no matter what you do, you will never please other people, because people come from their own perceptions, their own experiences, biases, and moods. Trying to anticipate, making assumptions, or manage other people's viewpoints and what they might want in the world, you are losing a battle. Focus on yourself instead. Focus on being the best version of you. Go inward and decide what are the things that you value and what are the things that you want to spend your energy on. Which brings us to number 2. It drains your energy. Constantly worrying or thinking or anticipating other people's judgments or mental and emotional judgments takes mental and emotional energy that can be spent on things that truly matter to you, your own goals, your passions, and your relationships. And the biggest relationship you're ever going to have is with you. But you might be caught in the trap. If I give, I will get back. I'm sorry, that does not work. That is a societal thing where people have said, you have to give, and then you'll get back. But that doesn't always happen, because if you give all the time, people don't respect you, because you don't have any foundation of your own. And people know that, and then you get used quite a lot. Anyway, number 3, you lose your authenticity, because you don't know who you are. And that's by you giving out in the hope, which I don't like that word, but in the thinking that people will give back to you because you're doing it for them, they're going to give it back to you. Life does not work like that. You give to yourself, and then when you give to yourself, you have more to give others, but without expectation that people owe you, or that when you give out, people can automatically give back. That is not a truth. That is a fallacy. It is a belief that you have bought into that doesn't work for your life or for anybody else's life. So when you embrace who you truly are, the right people will be drawn to you, and you won't be in situations where you're just giving and waiting for something to come back to you. Fear of judgment, because number 4 is you hold yourself back. Fear of judgment can keep you from speaking up, taking risks, and going after your dreams. Because if you're really worried about what other people think about you, you're not going to say what you really think, are you? It might upset them. It might become, I might cause an argument, or I might cause a ripple in the pond. But sometimes the ripple in the pond is necessary to remove the stagnant stuff of it. You cannot always just, oh yeah, I agree with you. Because then you become a doormat and you become less than, and then you might not like yourself very much. And then when you don't like yourself very much, you might get really depressed or get anxiety or get panic attacks because you're trying too hard to measure up to somebody else's rule instead of finding out who you are, becoming authentic, and holding yourself back from your real dreams and aspirations. 5. People think less about you than you imagine. So people also, this is a big one. I couldn't go to the shop wearing bright yellow shoes because people would all be talking about me. Well, people might look for a second, but probably 90% of the people go, oh, someone's wearing yellow shoes, and walk off. People don't care about us as much as we think they do. People are thinking about themselves or thinking other people are thinking things about them. People are not as brought in as you think to. People are too busy with their own lives to analyse yours very deeply. And the thing you're obsessing over, they probably forgot about it 5 minutes later. So you've worn bright yellow shoes to the shop. Oh my gosh. People looked at it and gosh, that person's wearing bright yellow shoes. And that would probably be the limit of it. They might even smile and think, wow, bright yellow shoes, that's brave. Because we make assumptions about what other people think about us as well. And those assumptions come from the same way we make judgments about other people. Assumptions and judgments are the same. So when you are thinking that's what they're thinking, that is actually you making judgment about other people as well. Number 6, it weakens your confidence. The more you seek external validation, the more you rely on it. Real confidence comes from within, not from what others think of you. So did you get that one? Because then we know, hey, what do you think? Do I look great in this dress? Hey, what do you think of that work I did? People have to tell you all the time how wonderful you are because you don't know that you're wonderful. You want people to fill your spaces. The spaces that you really could be filling yourself by having an internal conversation and focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. That does not involve anybody else. That involves you taking that time and using that to focus on how you could be better at being you. Number 7, opinions are temporary. Someone might criticize you today and praise you tomorrow because you can't base yourself on other people's opinions because they might be just in a bad mood, or the next day they've had a different perception, or they've had some new information and they've changed their opinion. What matters is what you think, because you matter. Everything starts and ends with you. Number 8, you'll never please everybody. No matter what you do, some people disagree or disapprove. So why not just do what makes you happy, fulfilled, purposeful, pleasurable, directional for you? Number 9, fear of judgment leads to regret. At the end of your life, you will not remember the opinions of people that truly didn't matter. You'll regret the chances you didn't take because you were afraid of what others might say. It might not even be at the end of your life. It might be where you are right now. You're regretting decisions because you were more concerned about other people's opinions than actually following your own aspirations. And that takes courage. but courage rewards us in very, very wonderful ways. Number 10, freedom feels better than approval. Living for yourself rather than for the approval of others creates a sense of freedom and inner peace that no amount of outside validation can replace. So, if you are considering other people all the time, I'm asking you the question, why? Why are you considering them and not putting you in the list of consideration? The circle of life only happens when we put stuff in our own cup and then we give from it. We give from it, we give from it without any expectation, we give from it, and then it comes around and we put stuff in our own cup and then we give from it. Now, I work from the 9 areas of life, and I believe there's 9 important areas that everybody should activate, to have activated to some level. And do you know one of those areas in there is hobbies? Hobbies is so important, and it is quite often the very, very last thing on the list, or something that people don't even consider being on the list. It's frivolous, it's silly, it's stupid, it's selfish. Well, hobbies is the only time where it's just for you. And do you know, if you had a hobby where you said, I'm going to commit to doing my hobby once a week, once a fortnight, once a month at the very least, you will fill your cup and be able to give to others in ways you haven't even imagined yet, because you are focusing on you. You're not saying, I'm focusing on me. You're actually just focusing on you with your energy and your time. You're getting lost. You're allowing yourself to enjoy. All of those things create a different kind of ripple in the pond, and you feel less starved of affection and validation, because you're giving affection and validation to yourself from the inside out. And you may be so surprised at the wonderful good feelings that you start to cultivate. So today we've talked about focus. If you are about, don't forget I have some courses starting next week in Martin and Wanganui and online. The Dreamcatchers and Cultivators Club online group is starting. And this is looking at the 9 areas of life and then picking one area and being able to go deeper into it, investigating the language you use, what beliefs you have in there, how do we create habits that sustain our life without just relying on willpower, EFT tapping to remove emotional threads, disruptions or distortions in our thoughts and body, as well as being in a place where we can all champion and encourage one another. Because when we encourage one another, we're really encouraging ourselves. When we speak kindly to others, we're learning how to speak kindly to ourselves. Because you matter and everything starts and ends with you. I'd like to thank you for joining me here. Don't forget, the book The Fairy Elephant Effect is on Amazon in Kindle and in paperback. And very soon it's going to be on Ingram Spark, which means it's going to be worldwide. And there will be some bookshops that can have my book, so I'll let you know about that. Thank you for coming. Your feedback is always welcome. And bye for now, and you'll see you next week.